Hello everyone, ATR here, and it's patch time. So today we received the Two Fronts update for Company Heroes 2, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So it's called the Two Fronts update because, well, of the Western Front, and it is essentially meaning that they did a little bit something to Company Heroes, the original one. They opened up a beta about a week or two ago. They're trying to fix some things. It says right there, arbitration server, secure leaderboards, and battle servers. So this is very exciting news that they're giving support to the original Company Heroes for a lot of diehard vanilla Company Heroes fans. But, well, if you're interested in Company Heroes 2 exclusively, I guess that doesn't really mean much to you. But, well, that is something that is, I suppose, an announcement as part of this patch because, like I said, the beta has already been available for a couple weeks. So, yeah. And then on the Eastern Front, we are going to be getting ourselves two new maps, which is great. We have Hill 331, which is well, like it says right there, an Eastern Front take on the classic. It now has Spring Rains, which is a 6 to 8 player map. And we have another map that we're going to be covering. I'll do another video about it just to analyze it a little bit further. But it's called Dawn River, and that is a 2-4 player map. It's a theater of war map that was already in the game, but it's now available for skirmish and auto match. And I did check the game before doing this video, and it is in the auto match pool, so you might run into this map every once in a while, and I'll be excited to see some replays in this map to see how it plays out. It's a very interesting looking map, so like I said, I'll do another video after this one just to analyze that one. Anyways, other things in the patch is the integration of Steam Workshop, which is excellent. Right now, apparently, it's only for maps. It just says right there, which is great because with the addition of the World Builder, it means that it's a lot easier to access those custom maps than it would have otherwise been. Not sure if it's going to be enabled for mods. Really, there's no mods out right now for Company Heroes 2, but it's a possibility, and hopefully they'll also be integrated into the workshop so you can get them a lot easier. Also, they added a new invite system, so this just makes it easier to play with friends. And we have a balance update, which we're going to jump into afterwards. But yeah, that's exciting. And the Theater of War, which is the Southern Front that you could also buy now if you're interested in Theaters of War. So let's go ahead and head straight into the patch notes themselves. So here we go. Updates for December 10th, 2013. Update, it says improve invite UI. That's what we saw. It's, like I said, blah blah. You can read it there if you're interested in the invite UI. Then this one is very nice. We'll see exactly how much, how dramatically it affects the game. But it says here, improved unit responsiveness to player commands, as squads will no longer wait for a transition animation to finish before carrying out a new command. So previously, I mean, this is a major complaint from a lot of people about the input lag. That essentially, you give your squads orders, and it takes them a couple seconds to react, and that makes it so that micro cannot be precise, and sometimes you can't even dodge nades and things like that. It makes it frustrating for a lot of players. So they did that, which means that the animations can now be interrupted for most things. So hopefully that means a lot better responsiveness on units. Again, we'll notice this ourselves as we do more replays, but yeah, that's excellent news for us, and hopefully it means a better game. Anyways, added a confirm email. I guess that's just it says to prevent accidentally putting in the incorrect email, so that's okay. Improved replay functionality. This I'm very excited to see. I am going to enjoy this immensely because of, well, I'm no longer going to have to do the overlay, at least not extensively. We'll see exactly how much information we can get from this, and whatever is missing that I can put in, I'll still do it. But this means, well, generally speaking, a lot more replays coming out because it says improved replay functionality, ability to display the resources of all players at once, which is amazing, and this is going to be great for team games, and additional stats, damage, units killed, units lost, display in player list. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, like in player list, but at least we know that we have access to that type of information. So I'll play around with it and see how big of a change it is, and hopefully this means better things all around. So I am very excited for that. There we go. Chat improvements. Great if you like chatting. I mean, it's more for, again, for the not looking for players, but improving the way to find and make custom matches, I guess you could say. So chat groups, looking for Annihilation, Theater of War, all that. Various bug fixes, including German Opel Blitz truck disable lockdown, works again. So I guess that was an issue. I haven't actually noticed it myself, but it looks like disable lockdown was not working before. Now it is. That's amazing. German ambush camouflage ability now applies properly to reinforcements and cover. So I assume this was happening if you were reinforcing the AT gun, well, the PAC gun that is, um, through a half track on the field. The guys that came out were not getting the camouflage, so they fixed that little glitch there, so that's good. The Russian victory and defeat speech lines can now be heard when the locale is set to Russia. That's good. Faceplates are now updated if the user purchases them by entering the store from the game. No longer need to restart the client to see new faceplates. Okay, that's excellent. Addressed an issue preventing the canceling of unbuilt mines. Mine construction can now be canceled. Excellent, good. So now you can cancel mines if somebody catches you placing one, and it should all be good. Modern map making updates, dev mode enabled. That's excellent. It's going to allow you to do a lot of cool things, including, like it says here, create art like full screen screenshots without the HUD taskbar. Previously, there was a mod that needed to be used to get these types of screenshots and such. So now at least the game has the dev mode enabled, so that you can utilize that. Obviously, if you have dev mode enabled, you're not going to be able to get into auto match, and play with those kinds of commands available to you. So don't think about that cheat. There we go. Close a Lua exploit to increase in-game security against potential cheat hacks and exploits. Very nice. World Builder updates. I don't know exactly what all that means, but updates to the World Builder is always great, making it more stable and such. The Steamwork integration, like I said, that's also amazing. It's for the maps right now. It says currently limited to sharing maps, but I'm hoping that in future, updates and such, we're going to be able to have mods in there, which is going to be great, because with the integration in Steam, it makes it that much more available to more people to play, and it might give this game a little bit more life. And here we go, free content, multiplayer maps, like I said, Hill 331 and Dawn River. We'll check out Dawn River in a video afterwards, but yeah, that's great, 2 more maps. Official leaderboards, select leaderboards from the game setup to go to new leaderboard site. And MUTTEC included in new Theater of War missions and on map Hill 331. So now we have MUTTEC. So what exactly that entails, I don't know. I guess you can get stuck in mud or something with your vehicles, but, well, for now, it is only in the Theater of War and the 331 map, which, well, means we're probably not going to see it that much. And here we go, premium content. That's always going to be included, unfortunately, in our updates. But I shouldn't say unfortunately. This case, in this update, we're not getting any commanders. We're just getting Theater of War, which is great. I actually approve of that. If you want to put out DLC for single player or cooperative multiplayer, that's excellent. And you have the Southern Front's Theater of War pack, and it has a lot of things here: challenges, AI battles, and such. So a lot of things to choose from. So if you're into AI battles and cooperative missions and such, even single player, that's great. I approve of that. AI improvements. AI will no longer attack destroyed HQs or invisible targets. That's great. AI on easy and normal difficulty should clump their units together less, so that should make them a little bit less easy. AI will no longer try to get a damaged vehicle repaired by a squad inside a vehicle. Huh, okay, so that's weird. But it doesn't do it anymore, so that's nice. And now this is interesting. It says the command point system overhaul. Command points are now earned at twice the rate as before. Don't panic. That doesn't mean it's like, what, broken? Command abilities have had their command points requirement doubled. Now, it might seem stupid to say, like, oh, yes, you get twice as many command points, but it already costs you twice as many, which means, it's still the same amount of speed. They explain it here a little bit better, which is nice because it makes a little bit more timing-wise. So it says the net effect is that the timing and unlocking commander abilities should be mostly the same, and players should not expect to see much change from before. Overall, the command point changes are intended to give more variety in when things are available. We previously worked within a 7-point range and have increased that to a 16-point range to allow us more control over this sort of timing. The main driving force behind the change was allowing some units to come out earlier without having them be available immediately at the start of the game, specifically some of the new units. There were some other abilities that also tend to come later that we felt best, but were moving them a whole point sooner would have had too large an effect on the game's flow. Examples of this are the weaker tank haul-ins and economic abilities. Well, I'll finish the reading. Additionally, we broke up later game abilities a bit more to add variety in when they come out and distinguish them from each other. In general, unit call-ins are available sooner than global abilities and upgrades, as these are more often gated by resource cost. So yeah, essentially, they made it so you have more command points to gain, but you gain them at the same rate. But since now you can split them basically into a half point, which are going to be a full point in this situation. It looks to me like, I mean, I haven't actually checked the commanders myself, but it looks to me like, say, things like the Assault Grenadiers or the Ostruppen. I don't know about the Ostruppen, but maybe. Or things like the whatever it's called, the Soviet machine gun. They're probably not going to be costing 0 command points anymore. They're probably going to cost 1. You'll be able to get that 1 very quickly, but they're not going to be available immediately as you start the game. And, they can split it up like that to pace it a little bit more and separate abilities from each other a little bit more instead of just having a bunch of abilities clumped at 1 and then a bunch at 4, things like that. So that's nice. Hopefully it means the commanders are going to be a little bit more, well, interesting per se. And here we go into the nitty-gritty, the balance. Commander trees. Soviet industry no longer decreases the build time of Soviet buildings. Now, still means you get, the vehicles themselves built pretty quickly, and the increase in fuel and all that. But well, they remove that ability to decrease the build time of the buildings so that you don't get that quick vehicles out in the game, but it's still going to be relatively quick compared to other doctrines. So it might not fix the doctrine completely, but I guess it's a step in the right direction. Let's see how impactful it is. And then you also have Soviet Repair Station, building health reduced from 600 HP to 300 HP, so a little bit of a nerf on that one. And then we have the Tiger Ace, which I don't know how I feel about it, but at the very least, it says CP increased to 16. Now, this means that essentially it takes 8 CPs from the old, time frame to get it. And they put the income penalty now only lasts 10 minutes. Now, to me, I don't know how I feel about that, because this essentially makes the Tiger Race even stronger. I mean, yeah, it probably takes a little bit longer to come out, but it means that it is no longer a win or lose scenario, which most of the time it was already a win situation. It allowed you to just simply bring that into the field and wreck your opponent and just drive straight into your base and kill him. This now means that if you try that and your opponent kills the Tiger Race, you're still in the game. I mean, 10 minutes, it is a long time, obviously. So in team games, this is going to be more prevalent, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But we'll see. We'll see if people are still, crying foul on the Tiger Race. But anyways, general gameplay, we have ambient buildings. Now, again, change into the buildings themselves. Buildings previously were providing a 50% reduction in damage and accuracy. To obviously incoming damage and accuracy, not to the guys inside. They're now only going to reduce 35%, so they're not as strong of cover as before. Still decently strong, but yeah. The previous changes that were made were that mortars and flamethrowers were more effective against units in buildings to try to flush them out, but the buildings apparently were still too good, so they reduced it to 35%. So we'll still see buildings being used, especially in the early game. But yeah, they might not be as dramatic as before. And moving penalty. This is moving vehicles now receive a 2x scatter penalty in addition to the 0.5 accuracy penalty. So that basically means if you want to have accurate shots with your units, just you have to stop them. Not necessarily. I mean, they're still going to be able to hit every once in a while, but they're going to have more scatter this time around. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to hit. Germans, it says the German Pak 48T gun cost reduced to 320, so that's nice. It was pretty expensive, 360. I mean, that's basically the cost of a sniper, but it's now 320, so I guess a little bit more affordable. German MG42, this is going to be very nice to hear for a lot of people, because it was, I guess, underperforming when they reduced the suppression value of it. And then on top of that, removed the suppression bulletin effect. So now they increased the suppression by 10%. So yeah, hopefully the MG42 will now be in line, at the very least, with the suppression ability of the Maxim, which was outperforming it as far as suppression goes. So that's nice. Soviets, Soviet sandbag reduced the build time from 120 to 80 seconds. So that's nice. They'll won't take that long. The Maxim had its rotation speed reduced from 225 degrees per second to 180 degrees per second, so it basically turns slower. The Soviet, the heavy one, the heavy machine gun that got introduced with the defensive doctrine, its damage got reduced from 16 to 12. And the Soviet AT gun, the standard one, reduced its cost again from 360 to 320 manpower, so both are costing the same. Okay, so that's nice. Those are all the changes we're going to get. Pretty good changes overall. A little bit, questionable in some things, especially like the Tiger Ace, but we'll see exactly how that turns out after play. It's going to take a couple days for the meta to shift there and figure out exactly where we stand. So, yeah, that is about it. I will, right after this, like I said, make a video just taking a look at the new map for 2v2s, and also probably just taking a look at those replay functions and see if I wet my pants. So, anyways, that's going to do it for me right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.